Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Education USA channel and Thursday webinars. My name is Katerina Alexandruk. I'm the outreach coordinator for the Education USA network in Ukraine. I hope you're doing fine and looking forward for today's webinar. And today we will not be speaking about degree programs as we usually do, but we will discuss other options that might be available for you at American universities as a short-term programs. And I'm very pleased to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Gokhan Alkanat, the Associate Provost for International Education at Rowan University. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Gokhan. He will share the information that might interest you in case if you're not interested in degree programs, but you're still very interested to go to US University for an academic experience. And as usual, you are welcome to leave your questions in the chat box. Please feel free to ask questions about higher education, about the university represented by our guest speaker. Probably you are interested to learn more about the university itself that's it. I think we can start with the information. Welcome again, Dr. Gokhan, and you are welcome to start telling us about the subject that you are going to tell us about today.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gokhan Alkanat. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about the higher education and short-term study programs in the United States. I'm the Associate Vice Provost for the International Education at Rowan University. We are in New Jersey, about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Today, I would like to talk to you about the short-term studies in the United States, or you can call them non-degree study, meaning you come and you're not getting a diploma or a degree, but you can study for 1 or 2 terms. Next slide, please. Thank you. Let's maybe talk about what it is not, the short-term study, and why people do this. The purpose. A lot of international students come to the United States for short-term studies, not to get a degree, but more to improve their language skills, learn about American culture, and also classroom culture, which is a bit different from overseas. And also have a maybe experience in the campus life in the United States. As you know, most U.S. colleges have very lively, robust student life activities on campus for undergraduate students. How long can you study when you come to the United States if you want to come here for short-term studies? That varies from program to program. You can study a couple of weeks, you can study a year. Typically, the 1 year is the maximum, meaning 1 or 2 semesters. Now, I put here 1 week because there are some programs, they're usually culture plus language type of programs. You can come to the United States for 1 or 2 weeks to improve your language, also have some trips to the tourist sites. And at the end of this study, what you receive from the American university is going to be typically a transcript, sometimes a certificate of participation. Again, you will not receive a degree or a diploma, but you will get a transcript that shows the courses you completed at this university. What is the cost? What is it that you need to be prepared for? Definitely the visa fee. As you see in the picture, most programs you will apply for a J1 or F1 student visa. Some programs, very few, you may be able to come to the States with a tourist visa, but again, most programs you will need a student visa. And other than that, the university application fee. Some universities charge you an application fee, some don't. The application fees vary from university to university. Some universities charge $20, some charge $70, some charge $50. So, and again, some you don't pay a fee. Other than that, there's tuition and their fees. Sometimes students are confused about fees. Fees means almost all US universities, they charge you tuition and fees. Tuition is for classes, and fees are for technology fee, activity fee, health care fee, because there's always a health center on campus. Like some universities charge different fees, like the print fees, um, housing fees, other things. The other thing you will be charged separately is housing, but that depends on where you want to stay. Some cases you may stay on campus. If you go to a big city like New York or LA or Chicago, the university may not have university housing because of the location. So you may have to find your own housing off campus. But most universities, if they are not in a big city, they always have housing on campus, meaning you can live on campus, you can study on campus. And there is a fee for that. Typically, you are charged for the whole semester, unless it's a short-term program, like a 1 month or 2 week program. Then they customize that housing program for you. Other than that, the food is additional expense. Some students cook in their housing unit. Some students use the university cafeteria and dining services. And there's also health insurance. There is a special health insurance for international students. There are different packages you can consider. For example, on our campus, we have a health insurance package for international students, but they can also buy their own health insurance from other providers from the United States. One thing you need to be careful about health insurance is do not buy health insurance from Ukraine, because typically they will not work in the United States. Meaning, if you get sick, you go to hospital, you show your health insurance information from Ukraine, the hospital here is not going to recognize it. So it's going to be a bit challenging. And so I strongly recommend that you buy your health insurance from a US company when you come here. And of course, textbooks, part of your education. And we have, for most universities have a bookstore on their campuses, but you can definitely use online stores like Amazon.com. Next slide, please. Thank you. Maybe a little bit more information about the short-term program options. What is it that you can do with the program? Again, they could be semester-long or year-long. There are a couple of different types of programs. Most short-term programs are for undergraduate students, meaning you are studying in a bachelor's degree program, or some programs are for English language training. Let's talk about the undergraduate programs, the bachelor's. Again, there's no degree, but I'm just referring to bachelor's just to give you an idea of the level of studies. These are typically semester-long or year-long. In the United States, fall semester typically starts in August or September and ends around December, Christmas time. And the spring semester starts in January and usually ends in May or early June. So you can study for one semester or for the whole year, meaning from September to May next year or June. Typically, you must take 4 courses every semester because that's the requirement for the F1 visa. And a typical semester is about 14 weeks, as I mentioned, about 4 months. What can you study? What courses can I take? Because this is non-degree, because it's short-term, there's a lot of flexibility. Whatever you study in your country, in Ukraine, you can study something similar at the American university. For example, maybe in Ukraine, you're studying engineering, and you come to United States, to American university for 1 semester. During that semester, you can take some engineering courses. You can, of course, take some other courses as well outside of engineering, but they probably must be basic courses. For example, maybe in Ukraine, you're an engineering student, you come to the United States, and you want to take a music course because you like music. That's possible, but you can only probably take basic level music courses. The university will not allow you to take advanced level music courses because you're not prepared for that. But of course, you can take definitely advanced level engineering courses because that's your background back in your country. So there's flexibility with the courses you can take. Um, and you always have an advisor, academic advisor on campus who can help you selecting courses. Um, the other option is language training, English language training. They are very popular in the United States. Many universities have English language programs, like our university has as well. Um, and those programs change in their length. Some programs are customizable. You can study a few weeks, like 2, 3 week short-term program, or you can study a whole year, for 8 months, 10 months, 1.5 year, up to you. So English language training depends on really where you are in your English language proficiency. Um, if you're an advanced level student, your English is really good. Maybe you need just a couple of weeks of training. That would be nice. If you have very basic language skills, maybe you will need a semester long or 2 semester studies. But English language training, regardless, because of the student visa policy of the United States federal government, you must study at least 18 hours every week if you're in an English language program. What does that mean? That means it's like a school. You go to English language program every day. Like our program is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Starts at 9 a.m. in the morning and finishes at 2:30, 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's an intensive program. You have a lot of hours for English language. The other option is summer camps. Some universities offer summer camps. These are typically language and culture together, meaning you do some language classes, and maybe in the afternoon or on the weekend, there are a lot of activities and trips to different cities or cultural sites or museums or different things. Those are also very popular for students who are maybe finishing high school or even in college. Next slide, please. Thank you. Um, what are the benefits? Why you should consider short-term studies. First reason I think should be that I also came to the United States 20 years ago to study short-term, but it became a long-term journey, definitely. But when you come to another country, if you have been overseas, you will definitely learn about the culture of that country. And if you stay in the U.S. for a semester, you will learn quite a bit about American culture. Also, you will learn a lot about U.S. higher education system, the classroom culture, and general life in the U.S. And as you see on the map, the U.S. is a pretty big country, and depending on where you go, you will actually learn different things about the U.S. culture. For example, if you go to South, like Alabama, Mississippi, or Georgia, or Florida, the culture is quite different from the culture that you will see in California, or the one in New York or New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. So depending on where you go, you will see a different part of the U.S. culture. Um, and the other thing is, there are a lot of studies on this, but this is a fact that students who have overseas study abroad experience have higher chances of increasing their career opportunities because of their diverse experience in their education. So you study overseas, you put this in your resume, your CV, that you studied in the United States for 1 semester or 2. That will definitely increase your chances of getting probably a better job. It'll at least put you ahead of other students, other applicants, job applicants. But more importantly, more important than your academic or your career goals, I guarantee that studying overseas, it doesn't matter. It could be United States, it could be another country. But going outside of your country and living in another country like US for a semester or for a year will definitely change the way you see the world. Because you will realize that there's completely different way of looking at things, way of doing things, and that's going to make a difference in the way you feel about your life, your career, and your future. We have a lot of students who study abroad and come back and they sometimes want to change their majors or the courses they take because they realize that what they want to do, their passion is something different, and they realize that during their time overseas. So it's a great opportunity. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, is the process difficult? How can I apply to a short-term study? It's not difficult. There are steps, definitely, but it's not difficult. The first thing you want to do is, of course, find a school that will allow short-term study. And the simple way is to send a quick email. Your email typically gets responded within a day or two. So you want to say something like, I want to come to the United States. Can I study for 1 semester? And this is what I do in Ukraine. You know, I'm an undergraduate, maybe music major student or engineering student. If they say yes, the first thing you want to do is complete an online application. Typically, online application takes about 20-30 minutes to complete. Basic questions, you know, your name, your last name, your address, what do you study in Ukraine, what do you want to study at the American university, you select those and you submit. After that, you will need to submit some documents, but those are not many. Typically, they will ask for a scanned transcript. So your transcript from your Ukraine university, you scan it and then you attach it to your application. And then English language test score. There are different options. Many universities accept Duolingo test, or you can do IELTS or TOEFL or Pearson test of English, PTE test, etc. And then you submit your English language test score. Typically, those two things are sufficient for short-term studies. You don't need to submit ACT, SAT, or recommendation letters, other things, because again, you are not applying for a degree program. You're not going to be in the US for 4 or 5 years. So the application process is simpler. Once you send your documents, typically within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, a university should be able to give you the admission letter. Admission letter means you're accepted, congratulations, here's the official letter from the university. And also they will provide you with visa documents, because you will need that document to be able to apply for a student visa in Ukraine. We call those documents I-20 if you're applying for F1, or we call it DS 2019 if you're applying for J1 student visa. Again, depending on the university you're going, there are different options. Most students come to the United States with an F1 student visa. Some students, maybe about 10-20%, come to the States on a J1 student visa. But again, most universities should be able to allow you to study on an F1 visa. There are some short-term programs, again, like 1 week or 2 week programs, where you can come to the United States on a tourist visa. But if you are, I put here, not a good idea, because if you are planning to come to the United States for a semester or longer, and you think, oh, I can go there with a tourist visa, I have a tourist visa already, that's not going to work, because that's against the United States student visa policy. So you don't want to do that. You can only use tourist visa for very short term, like summer camp, culture programs, things like that. Next slide, please. Thank you. I want to be more specific now, talking about Rowan University, so you have an idea about what this short-term study looked like. Our university is almost 100 years old. Next year, we're celebrating our 100th year, founded in 1923. We're a national public research university. I say that there are different universities in the United States. We have about 4,000 universities. There are community colleges, 2-year universities. There are regional universities. They're usually smaller. They only offer undergraduate programs. There are research universities. They offer undergraduate, master's, PhD programs. And so Rowan is one of those. We are a large university. We have about 20,000 students. Our location, as you see on the map, we're about 30 minutes from Philadelphia, about 2 hours from New York, and about 2 hours from Washington, D.C. So we have actually a very nice location. And we have New Jersey beaches on the east side. It's about 1 hour from our campus. Again, we have 20,000 students. Of that 20,000, we have about 400 international students from about 40 different countries. We have students from Europe as well. We offer 90 different undergraduate programs, bachelor programs, from engineering to education to other areas. And we have about 60 graduate programs, master's, Ph.D., and medical programs. We're one of the top 100 public universities in the US. We are ranked by US News and World Report. Next slide, please. Thank you. I want to talk about a specific program we have here at Rowan. It's called Semester at Rowan. This is specifically designed for international students who want to come to Rowan for 1 or 2 semesters, short-term studies. You can study for 1 or 2 semesters, so you can come in the fall, or you can come in the spring. You can stay for 4 months or 8 months. It's up to you. Again, you can take 4 or 5 courses at Rowan during that study each semester. So if you study for 2 semesters, you can take 8 to 10 courses, undergraduate level. As an undergraduate student, you can definitely enjoy all activities on campus. We have weekly activities, evening activities, weekend activities on campus. And you're also a Rowan student, so you will have a Rowan University ID, just like other students. So you can use the university library, the Wi-Fi services, all student activity services, advising services, counseling services, health services, anything available to all Rowan students, you will benefit from those services. And we will have an orientation program for you before classes start. Our orientation for this semester was last week. We did a 3-day orientation for international students. We talk about the rules, policies, these are the things you should do, these are the things you should not do. These are the resources, these are the people, these are the contacts. This is the location for this service. So you get a lot of good information. We bring also other university staff, from campus police to housing services to wellness services. We bring the local banks, telephone companies, so if you want to open up a bank account, etc. So it's a pretty packed program for international students. Once you complete your semester or your year, whichever you prefer, the university will give you a transcript where you can see all your courses. Next slide, please. Thank you. Again, what courses can I take? This is a limited list, so it's not a complete list, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what is it that I can study at Rowan University. Pretty much everything, from education to engineering to business, humanities, social sciences, liberal arts, performing arts like dance, theater, communication, creative arts, TV, journalism, etc. And we also have a new vet school as well, veterinarian school. And we also have English language program on campus, intensive English program. We actually have 3 programs. We have 2 face-to-face programs here in New Jersey, and we also have a fully online English language program, a live program as well, that you can choose to study. Next slide, please. How much it is? Again, we are a public university. We have tuition set for international students, but for semester at Rowan, if you want to study short term, we offer you automatic scholarship for you. For example, our current tuition is about $12,000 a semester for international students, but we give about $5,000 scholarship. So your final tuition plus fees together combined is going to be $7,000 a semester. So for $7,000 a semester, you can take 5 courses at Rowan University, which is about 15 credits. 15 credits, I don't know if you use the European system, but I think in the European system it's 30 ECTS. But it's about 5 courses you can take. And this scholarship is automatic. You don't need to apply. We will give it to you automatically once you apply to short-term study. And it's for every student from overseas. So it's unlimited. and you can get this scholarship for 2 semesters. If you're applying for English language program, this is the cost for 7 weeks. So you can study for 7 weeks, 14 weeks, 21 weeks, 28 weeks. You can study short or long term. You decide. But the example here is for 7 weeks. So if you study for 7 weeks, the regular tuition for 7 weeks is $2,000. But with the scholarship, your cost will be $900. So we give you about 60% scholarship. This cost includes textbooks. Most US universities, you must buy your books yourself. And typically books are $200-300. At Rowan, we give you the books at no cost, so you don't pay for the books. If you want to come for 14 weeks, the price doubles. So the full tuition for 14 weeks for English program is $4,000, but with scholarship, you pay $1,800. Again, textbooks included. The pictures are from the campus, both pictures. The next slide, please. Thank you. These pictures are housing pictures, 2 different housing units. One is an apartment style, one is a kind of new dormitory style housing. And we have shared rooms. Also, we have rooms for students who want to stay on their own, single rooms. Other expenses you must consider, tuition is one of them, but you will need to consider health insurance. Health insurance prices change from company to company, but you can probably find insurance as cheap as $50 a month, as high as $200-300 a month. So you decide what type of coverage you want. You want better coverage or basic coverage. You can choose health insurance based on that. The other thing you need to consider is housing. We have 3 options for you. There is on-campus housing, university, Rowan University housing, and you can see that in the pictures, those are Rowan University housing. They're about $1,000 a month, and meals are not included. Only Wi-Fi, electric, laundry, and other basic services are included. The other option is family stay option. We work with an outside company who help our students to find a local family. The company, of course, they do the background security check, everything with the family, but they help you. They help you with the matching service with the family, local family. Usually, those are about $1,100 a month, but the difference is family stay includes meals, most meals. I think like 2-3 meals a day. And the family also provides you with transportation to campus every day. The third option is off-campus private apartments. We have a lot of off-campus apartments. Those are not university apartments. Those are private, but they're cheaper, of course, because you can share your apartment with other students. The average cost, monthly cost, about $600 of those. But remember, short-term studies, typically students don't rent an apartment because the apartment landlords do not want to sign a contract for 4 months. It's too short. So your options are typically either on-campus housing or family stay in this case. The other expense you need to consider is meals. You can cook yourself if you're living on campus, or you can use university dining services we have on campus, or we have a lot of restaurants outside of campus. So it's up to you. Next slide, please. Thank you. I may not have covered all the information that you were expecting to hear, but I'll be happy to answer questions if we have time today. This is my information. The best way to reach out to me if you have any questions about Rowan, New Jersey, or any other US university, doesn't matter. My email address is here. That's the best way to reach me. And if you want more information about the university, our address is very simple, rowan.edu. Again, we're in New Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. So I wonder if we would have time for questions. And thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Gokhan, for the wonderful presentation. I will allow a couple minutes for the audience to think about the questions, but I do have a question about a little bit about scholarships. Does everyone who apply for the short-term program receive those kind of scholarships for tuition, or there is a competition? And if there is a competition, how do you choose those who do receive the scholarships?
If it is short term, like if you're asking specifically, Rowan, if it is short term, those scholarships are unlimited. We give it to all students because we want to increase the diversity on campus. So the students should not have any concerns if am I going to get the scholarship or not. They don't need to worry about it. The regular scholarships we have for degree seeking students, they're applying for master's or undergraduate bachelor's degree. Of course, there we look at the student GPA and also language test score. But GPA is usually not only for Rowan, but for most universities in the US, the high school GPA, the high school average, is one of the most important things that determines your scholarship. These are called merit-based scholarship, meaning they look at your success rate and they decide on the scholarship based on that. Very few universities offer need-based scholarship for international students, but they do. You will probably have to look at multiple universities to find the right type of scholarship. But again, for short-term studies, typically the cost of tuition is fixed. Either university provides you a discount or they offer you scholarship, and that's what you need to pay. And there you don't have to worry about, am I going to get this or not? But for degree seeking, it's a different deal. They look at your high school GPA, like Rowan is the same way. We have multiple scholarships for the degree seeking students. Actually, our scholarships are more generous for degree seeking students. We offer up to 19,000 a year.
Oh, that's interesting because I know many Ukrainian students who are looking for programs, probably currently looking for programs, they might consider Rowan University and check the opportunities you provide. All right. So there is a question about the music summer camp. Is there a scholarship for music summer camp?
The you said music summer camp?
Yes, for the music summer camp.
Yeah, we have a pretty robust music program under College of Performing Arts, and they do programs, the short-term community programs, and also students could take short-term studies as well as a music major, like for one semester. So the scholarships I mentioned cover all majors. There's no restriction to this major or that major. Any program, any major on campus are included in the scholarship program. There's no discrimination across the programs.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question I have, hypothetically, a student comes to your university for a short-term program and then realizes that he or she wants to go for a degree program at your university. What is the procedure?
It is possible because sometimes students come and say, "Oh, this is what I want to do." There is a process for that, and that's a regular application because they apply short term. We actually looked at very few things because we're not admitting the degree program. We're only admitting them for one semester, some courses. That's all. So if they want to study, say they studied in Ukraine for 1 year, and they came to the United States in their second year for short term, and say, "Oh, I like this. I want to stay here." We help them with the regular application, and then we will need their in this case, we will probably, depending on where they are in Ukraine, like they studied for one semester or 1 year or 2 year, we will probably need little more information about their academic studies in Ukraine. Other than that, we already have their language test score, so we just need a separate application. We will re-look at their GPA and language test score to give them scholarship, because now we will give them scholarship for the rest of their studies. Our scholarships are renewable up to 4 years if they're coming for degree, because we want to make sure they're covered from year 1 to year 4. So we look at their scholarship situation again. For example, if they have not studied in Ukraine much, then we consider them freshmen. Then their scholarship opportunity goes up to $19,000 a year for 4 years. So they can get about almost $80,000 within 4 year period. And actually, our scholarships, when the university says you can get up to this
Mm-hmm.
scholarship, it doesn't guarantee anything. You may get maybe
Right.
zero. You may get $500 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is not that way. We designed it in a way that, for example, if your GPA in Ukraine is 2.6 out of 4, our system is maximum 4. If it's 2.6, you will get at least $4,000. That's where we start from. And then if it's 2.7, you go like 6,000, 8,000, 11,000, and then we go up all the way to 19,000. So there is that opportunity. So we determine your scholarship. We give you an admission letter, and then we also make changes in your immigration status so that you can stay for the whole 4 year period. So it's a pretty simple process. We have a whole international center. Actually, we help international students with all the steps they will need to go through. So they're not on their own. I have actually staff for immigration. I have staff for other advising, staff for application
Mm-hmm.
process. So we help the
Mm-hmm.
students with all steps.
Thank you. The next question from the audience basically actually overlaps with the question from me about online opportunities. You said you had short-term like programs at campus, like on campus. And the audience, Polina from the audience is asking, I've been searching for a postgraduate non-degree program or certificate. There are programs only for current students or programs that are not eligible for any F1 visa or fully online due to COVID-19. So you have to be very careful while searching the programs. Is there any online options, by the way, that the university offers to students who wants to study like non-degree or degree programs? Is there any opportunities for that?
Uh,
Or for the programs for the postgraduate non-degree programs?
sure. The degree programs, Rowan is a traditional, mainly face-to-face university. Most
Mm-hmm.
programs are face-to-face. That being said, we definitely have some online programs as well. But in education, that depends on demand. For example, engineering or medical sciences, there's not much online. It needs to be in the class because there's a lot of lab hours involved. But for example, if you're a business major, the MBA program has certificate programs as well, where you don't need to get a degree. You don't have to be here for a year. You can just study for 1 year, or in some cases, less than a year, about 8 months, 7 months, and have your business certificate at the graduate level. And as for example, because of the nature of the courses, College of Business offers online courses that way. So you can do your business program online, face to face, or hybrid. So we have all three options. But when you come to medical studies, we don't have that option, unfortunately. So it depends on, I guess, the major, but I know the College of Business offers online opportunities for students. And English language program is another one that we offer online around the year. And those are usually done through the Zoom meetings every day. Uh,
And what about the postgraduate non-degree programs? Is there anything like that possible, which is eligible for F1 visa or G1 visa?
the short term, if it is postgraduate, like if they already have their masters, I probably recommend that they apply to come here on a J1 researcher scholar visa and then just do research here if that's kind of the intention of these students. They're
Mm-hmm.
not going to take in probably too many courses. They just want to do some research and collaborate with the faculty here. They probably are looking at not courses but more research and collaboration. So what I recommend for them is they're probably looking for, again, J1 scholar program.
Mm-hmm.
Those are more for advanced level students who already have their master's degree or they're in their PhD studies in Ukraine, but they want to do further studies here. That's possible, but the focus is not going to be coursework.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I probably we should say more to our audience, because when you have already your degree and you want to go with a postgraduate degree, there is no such thing as studying already. You need to do the research or just to reproduce some results. You're not studying anymore. That's why probably there is no programs, the postgraduate programs that would allow you just to come and just to study. If I'm right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. The next question: are future students have to be high school graduates to be eligible for a short-term program, or high school students also can apply for a short-term? Well, I believe it's the question about the high school students or like students of university. That's what I think, right? If you feel like if you can clarify the question. So basically, it can be the students after the high school, or they must be already the students of the university. I believe this is the question. If not, please, Viola, just clarify what you mean by question.
There are two aspects to it. One, we require students have be at the age of at least 16 or above, for social reasons, because it will be awkward for a 14-year-old to come, participate in a program with 17, 18, 20-year-old students. Socially, I think it would be awkward because it's a teenager dealing with young adults, and then probably don't want that type of environment. And also, it's a liability issue for the institution. The other thing is, it's interesting, but we don't have any rules about short-term study that you must have your high school diploma. We don't. It's just the age is more matter here than anything else, because we allow American students to come do short-term study at Rowan. If they're in high school, they can take two course when they're doing their high school studies, like a co-registered both in high school and college. You can do that. So we allow, but the age is the issue. So they must be 16 at least to be able to come study on our campus.
And the both, like for example, the high school student just graduated and have high school diploma, but then the student have a gap year, for example, and hadn't. So they're still allowed to have this short-term program.
In a college in Ukraine. In this case, we will just look at their high school transcript just to understand what they studied, because the reason is we need some sort of background information, academic background information, so that we can determine what courses you can handle at Rowan. For example, maybe the high school you studied was on music, maybe it's a performing art high school, and then you come here, we ask you to take biology courses. That's going to be difficult. But you want to take advanced level music courses, we will approve it because we know your background. So if you want to take, in the US, the courses are, first year courses are called 100 level or 1000 level, and then 200 level, 300 level, and then 400 level, most difficult courses. So whatever is your major in your country, if you want to take advanced level 300, 400 level courses, we will allow you to take those courses if your background in Ukraine matches with that. So it's important to look at high school transcript in this case.
I see. And there was a question about the age restrictions, and I think we already mentioned it's 14 years old. You must be older, 16. Sorry, you must be older than 16 years old. So
or above, yes.
Or above, yeah, older than 16. Right. Thank you for the questions, and thank you for the answers. I will allow another couple seconds for the audience to probably put another question. But anyway, I think I've just run out of my questions, and thank you very much for the information, and thank you very much for the information about the university. I'm encouraging everybody to visit the university website to learn more about the programs offered by the Rowan University. I believe it's the undergraduate and also graduate programs, right? You offer both, and probably if you already bachelor student and you're looking to continue with your education in the United States, you may look for the graduate programs that offered by the university. But if you are still a bachelor students, or you just graduated or you're going to graduate probably this spring from the high school, you're welcome to look for the opportunities to attend the short-term programs. And thank you very much from the audience. I think that's all questions we have for now.
Thank you again for having me today. It was a pleasure. We'll be happy to answer student questions. I know EducationUSA is doing a great job. I've been working with EducationUSA for about 15 years now, since they started the business. So I know you have great resources. So I recommend students that, if they have any questions about U.S. higher education, EducationUSA is the main resource they should be taking advantage of. But we are here as well. You have my email address. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. But again, very happy to be meeting with your students and yourself today. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day, everyone, to you, and have a great night to everybody, and see you next Thursday for another webinar with Education USA. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you all.